Welcome to Watcha Makin', a podcast about sharing ideas and connecting with the maker community. Your hosts are Alex Adams of Type A Furniture and Alex Duffey of Duffey Woodcraft. Watcha Makin' is proudly sponsored by NextWave CNC.
What you begin today, to show you the way from the blueprints to the shape of Tony Floyd. Help us do, let's see what's in store.
Welcome to What You're Making. This is episode 54, all about 3D printing. And we're here to remind you that August 26th is National Women's Equality Day, which celebrates the 1920 certification of the 19th Amendment, granting women the right to vote in the United States. And yet, 94 years later, many elected Republican men are still trying to take the votes away.
For women's votes, though we adore men individually, we agree that as a group they're rather stupid. Mrs. Banks.
Tonight's main topic is 3D printing with a special guest, but more about them in just a moment. I'm Alex Duffey, and you can find me on Instagram and on YouTube at Duffey Woodcraft.
And I'm Alex Adams over at Type A Furniture on Instagram.
What You're Making is proudly sponsored by NextWave CNC. If you're looking for the best CNC on the market today, look no further than a Shark CNC from NextWave. And remember, if you need an extra $500 and know how to make CNC projects and want to do a little fun, NextWave is still offering that $500 bonus for makers that message them on Instagram and have a project that they want to teach as part of the project of the month. So just reach out to them on Instagram and you can get an extra $500 in your pocket.
Woo! That's awesome.
You know who doesn't have an extra $500 on their?
I was gonna say, you know what you could do with $500 is you could become a patron. Yeah, that would get you a lot of patronage over at patreon.com/whatyourmakingshow. You could support the show by joining on any of those various tiers.
You could sign up for the whole year and still have $480 left over.
Yes, or you could sign
$380. I can do math. Yeah, something like that.
There's fees and stuff in there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Anywho. So for those who are watching on YouTube, they've already seen our special guest. But for those who aren't seeing him visually right now, we have the one and only master of 3D printing, who you've probably heard before, or if not, know that he has a 3D scan of you somewhere hidden in his basement. Please welcome to the show, Dave 3DIY Dave.
Hello. Hello.
Oops. There's the classic.
Okay. Hello, Alexes. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
I stumbled over your name. Sorry. It's 3D DIY Dave, right?
That's correct. Yeah. That's how
I think there's some periods in there, right?
Underscores.
That's what it is.
But it's fine.
Yeah. So for those who don't know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, what you make?
Like you said, I am 3D DIY Dave on the socials. I do a lot of 3D printing, but making in general, I do a lot of woodworking, although not a lot of that lately. I'd love to get back in the garage and do a lot more of that. But I do a lot of tech and product reviews, funny content. I like to have humor in my posts, be educational and provide that kind of value. And just show off what I'm working on.
That's awesome. I haven't seen the puppet in a while in your stuff.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring the puppet back out?
About the puppet.
The puppet has been hidden. So for people who don't know, I have a mini me puppet that I got made that I brought around to a couple of the conventions and meetups, and it was funny for a while, and then it felt like it was starting to take over more than me, and I couldn't have that. I couldn't have him become more famous than me, and it's funny because this is my alter personality ego. So it's a joke that I have him locked in a box buried in the backyard, and whenever
it's like the King of the Hill episode where Bobby becomes a ventriloquist and his dad loves the dummy more than him.
Yeah, and whenever I play soccer in the backyard, I hear the pounding on the box underground. So that's a joke.
I was gonna say, Halloween is coming up. You could do once a year. You could do like a Halloween
Yes.
reel where he's like in like a shot from inside the coffin.
Yeah. No,
where he's planning his
of,
revenge or something.
there's been a lot of ideas on how to bring him back with other makers and stuff like that. And I think he will make a cameo in the next year. Just, I think it's been long enough that some people are like, what the heck is this? Like they have never seen him before. So yeah, he
or you just do paid cameos where he reads off whatever you say for
oh
a
my
nominal
goodness, you should have a cameo page. That is hilarious.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I think you could definitely go something like yearly. Like I look forward every single year to Steve Ramsey's Halloween stuff that he does. And so like, I think any maker that does like a once a year thing and they do it for a long time is just so much fun.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, the reason I created him in the first place was to help with certain posts. And it came at a time where it was a lot of people were doing these kind of juxtapositions of themselves dressed up like their wife, or they were themselves with like long hair, and they were like having a dialogue back and forth. And I was like, it'd be kind of funny if it was a puppet mate, and that's kind of where it started. And then he had this whole backstory. But yeah, I think a reoccurring thing was always the idea, but it was always a big hit with the community, but it was never, it didn't translate well for the broader audience of the internet. So I think people just thought I was weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Trekkie myself, and so they did just do a puppet episode on Star Trek, and the amount of hate that the internet is giving that right now.
Oh, really?
The fan base?
They're
or
not a
the
fan
base?
Is that the new show?
The Strange New Worlds, the newest one. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there was a transporter accident, and it turned most of the crew into a puppet.
Oh no! Yeah, that's a little weird. That's out of universe.
That reminds me of the Potter Puppet Pals. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, Hermione.
Classic.
I don't think. I saw
anyways,
that one.
Yeah. It's basically add-on content of the Harry Potter series that was like obviously non-canon, but it was wonderful. It was actual puppets for a while, and then they made it into like almost like a South Park-esque kind of style where it's like it's close to it, but not exactly. So it was easier to animate.
That's like, and we're talking like early internet, like we're talking Numa guys time frame of early internet and YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
It's a pipe bomb.
Anywho,
that went over my head.
Yeah. Well, with that comment,
what you doing?
So let's talk about what's on our shop or in our shop or on our benches this week. So for me, I actually got to do this week a project that one of those feel good projects. So I had a customer come to me during my Saturday market that I've been doing this summer. And she, I guess, was a woodworker with her boyfriend. And then they broke up a couple of years ago and he took all the tools. Oh. And so now it's been one of those things where she hasn't had the time or money to invest back into it. But she had about a dozen unfinished cutting boards that still needed to be routed, still needed to be sanded and finished and logo applied and all that. And so she's been coming by my booth, like looking at my stuff and buying like one little thing here and there. But she's been a regular every week and we've been talking. And so she told me this story and I said, I will gladly do those for you. I charge just my shop rate, but you already built it. Like it's just going to be my hours. And she's like, really? And she's like, could you give me a quote? And I gave her a quote and she was ecstatic and immediately brought him the next day. And so that I got to do that this week for her, which I gave him to her this weekend. And so I'm really excited to do that because she has been wanting to give them to she made them originally to give to her nieces and nephews. And so like now she gets to do that. And so I'm super excited to be able to help her with that. So It's just one of those projects where like, I'm not making it or anything. I'm just helping someone finish their vision. And it just makes me super happy. So that's one thing I've been doing this week. And then my other projects, I have a restock of my retail store, the Gypsy, that is coming up. I'm going to be actually driving down there on Friday to go restock them. They're pretty empty at the moment. So I've had everything from wooden ornaments to the wall or the lasered wall wallets. magnets and slate coasters and just all the little gift items that I've had to do a big stock of. I also, which I'll talk about in the What You Breaking section, are doing some shot glasses, but that's been a challenge. And then I'm doing some whole new reproduction run of my Squatch Z boxes, getting ready for the holiday. So I have about 80 game boxes that are currently being cut out on the CNC this week. And finally, not shop related, but I did a deep clean in my living room because something as an adult you get excited about. We got a new couch, and it was very exciting.
That is exciting, yeah.
So I can't wait to have somebody over to see the couch and they get to sit on it and not fall into a black hole that was our old couch. So, yeah. Anyways, that's been on what's on my shop this week. Dave, what have you been doing?
I've been doing as expected a lot of 3D printing stuff. I posted about a hole that was in my stairwell area where my wife and we took down a old built-in to renovate that area, and we're going to put some shelves up. But in taking down this built-in, there was a hole where the tiling was. It's like probably like a 2.5, 3 inch, little void. I mean, there is a bottom to it, but it's just kind of like a gap in the tiling. And I also needed to make a reel with my 3D scanner. So I took the opportunity to 3D scan the hole and to get the void space exactly right. And then I created a negative that I 3D printed and basically filled the hole with the plastic, with the 3 tiles that I made on it that fit perfectly into it. So now it's level with the ground. It's a temporary thing until we figure out what we're going to actually do with that area. If we are going to do something where it's exposed, I'm going to eventually try to find the right tiles. If not, we might actually build like a bench over that area, which will cover it. And then I might actually just leave the plastic there the way it is. So that's actually something we built. Yeah, right. Just cover it.
I would love that, just so that one day when you aren't in this house and the new owners are like, why is everything patched with plastic?
Right. It's more than, it's not just that one. There's at least half a dozen places that the problem was solved with like a 3D printed cap or I have a ceiling light that's over here that like the framing of it is plastic. So it's definitely funny for the next owner for sure. And then I've been reviewing some filaments this year. I've been reviewing a lot of dryer cabinets and filament drying things for 3D printing. It's like the year of like dehumidifying and drying filament. I think I've reviewed like 4 or 5 of them at this point. Also, I got a cool laser that's off camera. You can't see it here, but
also, is that a roll of toilet paper by that pole behind you?
It is. My yeah, it's not what you think it is. My kid has been sick and he's been hanging out down here blowing his nose. So yeah,
I do the same
we don't
thing.
record that long.
My wife gets mad at me.
Little Jergens.
Do you guys ever stock Kleenex, or do you always use toilet paper?
We always use toilet paper. Like it's just
so do
easy.
I.
But
my wife grew up with Kleenex, and she gets mad at me when I just carry a roll of toilet paper when I'm sick with me.
It's like multifunctional, right? Like you can use it for this or use it for that. Although Kleenex is like luxurious when I use it, I'm like, oh my god, that is definitely superior.
Well, you got to get the ones that's like infused with whatever, so it's not like scratchy on your nose. I am a little bit bougie with my facial tissues.
Oh, I don't like the scented. I like everything unscented.
Oh, it doesn't have to be scented. But it has to be the
lotion.
The lotion.
The lotion, the aloe on it. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah, a little aloe, so that you're like you don't like freaking wipe your nose off and you are like making scabs on your nose.
Since we're talking about it, I'm like really basic when it comes to toilet paper. We're gonna go off tangent here, but I don't like the double, triple ply. Like I like a single Scott's like toilet paper.
Okay.
As long as it's not whatever they put in the schools.
Oh no, not like craft paper. Like that stuff is not great. But yeah, I just like a regular. And also, they are kept separate. Like there's bathroom use. That roll is bathroom use. And you can't mix the two. That's just not good.
No. I'm a Kirkland, the big thing from Costco. That's the toilet paper we use at this household. So
yeah, we buy the massive like Scott's like Costco 50 roll something in there. Yeah.
So does the facial toilet paper, does that go over the roll or under the roll? How do you orient that?
No, it's like that. It goes up. It's not over or under.
Gotcha.
It's just one of these.
Yeah, you just put it on your finger and
then you rip it. And then and for cleaning up like kids eating stuff, like we don't even do paper towels. It's just that. So it's just like
that I disagree with.
You disagree with that? Yeah.
I mean, if you're gentle enough with it and doesn't tear.
Yeah, that's the thing is I like scrub everything, and so it's like shredding on me.
Oh no. It's like it's a good absorbing paper, right? But it's not a rubbing paper, right? So it's a dab, right? It's like you dab it to get it off. No, Alex, don't do that. All right, we went into this toilet paper bit.
Yeah, our woodworking listeners are like, "What the hell is happening, guys?"
It's a tree product. It's fine.
Yeah.
I made that. I basically planed that into a roll and dyed it white.
I was watching a video of a Japanese hand plane guy, and just doing that super thin, translucent stuff. And I'm like, I was actually thinking, it's like you could use that as toilet paper. I bet
it's a little thin. I feel like you have to layer that, right?
Yeah, but the amount like he's getting off, like you could just use like a handful of that. I'm sure it would work the exact same.
Yeah. I know, like, have you guys done it where you're taking shavings and you kind of burr the wood and kind of make it shine, like a finishing thing?
Yep.
That's not the right term, burring it, but
burnishing.
That's what. Yeah, it works really well. Yeah, but I wonder if the really thin ones would work the same. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anywho, so besides the toilet paper, we got off Angel here. What else have you been doing besides filament?
I think lasers. I think I was saying I have a F2 UV laser from XTool that is a really cool tool that I've just been messing around with more and more. Being able to take I just 3D scanned my son. He turned 10 recently, and I think I've been doing like a scan every other year of him, but I'm going to take that 3D scan and do those crystal engravings. Have you ever seen those at the mall or something where it's like a crystal? And there's like I always wondered how they did that. And now I could do that at home, which is really cool with the UV laser. So I could take any 3D model and engrave inside glass. It's a particular glass, but it's really cool.
Yep.
So that's
okay. So it's a special kind of glass that you need to do in order to make that happen.
Yeah, it's called K9 glass. It's like the quality of it is extremely pure inside with no it's just super clear so that the laser can pass through without hitting any impurities or anything like that. So that way it can actually get down to the right level to
so it's just going at a certain power, it's pulsing the power at a certain level to get a certain depth, right?
It's like a magnifying glass, right? It's like when you're focusing the beam on with the magnifying glass to get the sun to focal point, right? So it's doing that within the glass and then causing tiny little fractures, and basically that fracture becomes an etch or a little dot, and then it moves around like a 3D printer would to create the 3D model. It's pretty wild to see it go. Again, it's just these kinds of tools that were originally just commercial or industrial is now hobby level, pro consumer. It's really cool to have. Yeah. So I've been messing around.
Do you have any of the Bamboo's upcoming laser that they're teasing right now?
Not yet.
You don't have that one?
If I did, I wouldn't be able to talk about it anyway. But no.
I just didn't know if you were working on.
I do have something back here that's covered by this hanging shirt that I'm testing.
Oh, you're letting people 3D print on your printer again?
No, I'm not. that over there is the printer that is what I usually have people send to, and I'm actually getting rid of it to make room for new equipment that goes from there over here. And it's a small space, and I'm always trying to find room. And that's what's difficult, is that when people send me brands send me equipment to review, it's really a challenge to figure out how to make it work in this space. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but it's just it's just difficult when I really like something, but I have to let it go because I need to make room. Wish I had a bigger place. Maker problems.
Don't
right?
we all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex, what about you? What's been on your shop and on your bench?
So I had, since the last time that we recorded, I had the county fair, and so a lot of it was like the lead in to 3D printing a lot of stuff to sell there. And then during that, I was printing a lot of stuff and restocking inventory. And then afterwards, it was backfilling that stuff as well as making a lot of custom orders. So I had several different types of custom orders that came through, because I get a lot of requests for like personalizing like light switch covers, license plate covers, keychains, that kind of stuff. So I got some special requests on top of like just the stuff that I print and have there as items. Some key holders as well, because I had the they're like the car back end or front end for the key holder, so I had a few people that had gotten those, and then a few hitch covers as well. So those are the ones that I like do a lot of like customizing and personalizing on, because they're relatively easy. And then let's see, I'm trying to think.
How do you customize them?
You're talking like keychains and stuff.
I mean, like, yeah, or the hitch covers and stuff. Like, is it just...
So the hitch cover, like the hitch covers and the keychains are basically the same thing. Like it's the same way. You just enlarge it and then you put it on the square receiver that has a little hole that you put the pin through it. So you basically take it could be the same image for a keychain, and then you just put it on the end of that and then print it face down. So it's not so if you've done coasters or keychains before, and when I say keychains, I'm referring to like the flat kind where they're generally face down. They're relatively straightforward, because all the bamboo stuff that I have, they've got some in their maker lab thing. They're like keychain maker that's super simple to use. Because there's other ways to do it if you want to, but that's the simpler way to go about doing it.
Okay. No, I was thinking maybe you're mixing other things like lasers and stuff, but all 3D printing makes sense.
Yeah, because I've been at markets, I've always been basically full in on 3D printing, just because it's easier to keep the 3D prints going. I've been saying that I've been wanting to add in more laser engraved and other stuff, but I've been doing just fine with the 3D printing and like diversifying what I have there, so that there's always something for people to have, or new or whatnot. So
that's great.
I've rotated through a couple of things. Some of the like wind spinners or birdhouses, like I haven't gotten a whole lot of traction on those. So those ones I might be just kind of like phasing out in general, just because they're also like, because those are some of like the big items that I added that are like a little bit more pricey is not the right word, because we're talking pricey compared to like a keychain that I sell for like $5.
Right.
Because like a majority of...
It's cool that you're making money off of the 3D prints, though. I didn't realize you guys were doing that, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of... I mean, animals are always super popular, and like I always grew up with Pokemon stuff, so like I like 3D printing Pokemon related things. So I also
Alex is a hustler.
Yes,
he because he started this whole journey by he was going to his son's swim meets. And he sat there going, well, if I have to be stuck here, I might as well try and make some money. So he started selling 3D things to kids just as a pop-up.
Yeah.
And so like...
I've been trying to get my 10-year-old to do that. I'm like, dude, you have a printer here and you have friends like who want stuff. Like, just print out stuff and sell it to them. You know, like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're
Minecraft
also...
stuff is hot.
Yeah. Yeah. I just printed. Have you guys seen the poppers thing?
Oh, the little clickers.
Yeah, they're little clickers.
Yeah, yep.
But yeah, with a rubber band inside. But now they have ones that it's like stronger, and you throw it to the ground, and it bounces back up to you.
Oh yeah, it's the one where they've got the rubber band in there, and it's like a squishy ball kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing like the poppers, but it's just more robust. Like it's built to be like kind of dropped, and then it'll just like,
because I've only done the ones where it's like the little keyboard switches that are in there that click.
Oh no, there's
yeah, because those are different. They're different. Those are different. Like, those are the ones that I've done.
It's like a sandwich, right? Like it's like
I know what you're
it's
talking
a ball.
about.
It's got the rubber band around the outside. And
have you ever seen what are they, like the lay flat frisbee things that like kind of push down? It's like exactly that same thing.
Yeah, that's like big right now. I think there's like pokeballs of it. Like I think that would kill if you, because I did some prints. I haven't done them for a while just because they were really intricate. Where it was a pokeball, and then it had like, there's like an Eevee version where it had like Eevee ears and like a little tail that came out of it. Like that stuff did sell. Yeah. But it was very time intensive to like put it together, because it I think the time that it would have taken to print that if it was using the AMS would have been like super long. Okay. And when you do it as a non-AMS where you have to put all the pieces together, like it's a little tedious. So there have been times where I've tried stuff, like it sells great, but it's just so tedious that it's like there's only so many things that I can do like assembly wise between markets. So we'll see. I might bring those back, those Pokeballs, because they did sell. Yeah. I didn't realize you were doing markets. How long have you been doing it?
Oh, let's see. You started last summer.
Last summer?
Yeah. So it would have been about a year and a half. So I've got like a local farmer's market that I go to on like a weekly basis. And like you said, the swim meets, which is like earlier in the year on weekends. And then I've got the county fair is a big one for me. There's a local town that has like a really big 4th of July thing that I did really well at. And I'm also in an area where there's like, because I'm in a town of like 10,000 people, and there's a few other surrounding towns. Like the next biggest town, I can't remember what Lincoln's population is, but they're like an hour away. So like I don't have like a whole lot of competition, but there are other people that 3D print in the area. But they're like, I always get people telling me like, you have such a better selection of stuff, where it's like other places are just like, they do like the print in place fidgets, and it's just like just like generic stuff where it's like I'm very pointed, where it's like, this is, Pokemon type stuff, or like Minecraft things, or like, you always have to have some kind of dragons. Like I have a couple of dragons and some like dragon eggs, but they're not like the entirety of everything that I do. Like I don't print all of one thing, because I got 3 printers, and I'm always printing different stuff. Like I don't have the need right now to like keep one printer continuously printing the exact same model over and over again, where I like need true automation for it. So like I wouldn't consider myself like a true print farm, but my 3D printers are like almost always running.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So I keep them. I've gotten my money's worth out of them, definitely. So yeah, and then I'm trying to think if there's any other 3D printing stuff.
Real quick, while we were talking about the Pokeballs, I just thought of, and I did a quick Google search, and I didn't see anything other than a cat-sized one. I think a perfect thing for a Pokeball, you know how you used to have the race car beds growing up? Why don't they have a Pokeball bed? Do you think that would sell so well, especially for kids who don't have sensory things? If they could close the top,
it would be so
like
big.
One of those Google pods, Nat pods, but it's a Pokeball.
So I have a friend. His name is Carlos. What's his? I think it's Carlos 3D. Carlos 3D FR. He made a Pokeball like gaming room. Like you open it, you go in, and you could play like video games, and you could close the ball. It's check it out, Carlos 3D. It's extremely impressive how big this thing is, and you go inside and you're like a Pokemon in a Pokeball playing video games. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Glorious.
Yeah,
That's my dream job.
If you search Pokeball bed, there's a bunch of people who have 3D printed cat beds out of or have crocheted them too. And I'm like, that's a smart idea too, because then your cats are the Pokemon.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's like you could make a door and they go in, but like I feel like a kid like opening that whole thing would be. Yeah, I guess you could have.
Yeah, it would just always be open.
Yeah,
I would love it.
Yeah. We can make it.
I'm just talking about what I want for me. Let's make a king size one.
If you made a king size one, it would get. I think it would get so many good views on it. It would be sick.
I might have to start planning a video around that or something. And I wonder if I could section it out and just 3D print the whole thing. Or at least the case.
These are the ideas that I like. If I was my age, not married, and I had a house, I would build the stupidest things. Like
100%.
Yeah. Because it would otherwise never work with my wife.
Yeah, the things where it's like it just the flow of the aesthetic is not the same at all. But you're like, but I want it, so it's going to go here. It's like the guys who have the full size stormtroopers and Mandalorian that are just like in the like living room or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where it goes.
It would if I had my house my way, it would make sense, right? Like we would have a video game room, right?
Oh yeah,
and then that Pokeball would just make sense there, right? And then if I had like a Star Wars room, like the theater would be Star Wars room for sure.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We would have like the statues, the costumes along the walls,
and then the seats for your theater would be like the Palpatine seats.
Yeah. I would go more Rebels. More like brown leather, grungy a little bit, like made it to look dirty, and then like more of a Tatooine kind of junkyard vibe, right?
Not the cantina.
Cantina's good. I mean, cantina fits that vibe. You could have a little cantina in a corner for like a bar.
Yeah. There you go. That would track.
Kind of sick.
I'd have to if I had a movie room, I'd have to go the other verse and go Star Trek and do like the holodeck theme.
Yeah, that's clean. That's nice and clean. Yeah.
Yeah, because and it's easy to clean.
I feel like I would just stuff it so the junkyard vibe would work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All your toys and all the things that you come across. Actually, there is a maker in Seattle, and I'm gonna forget who it is, but he's made a starship. It's like half Star Trek, half Star Wars. His whole basement, and it's like you have to go through the cockpit to get into the basement, and it's incredible. So cool. I'll see if I can find the name and bring it up in the next section. But it's really impressive, and he's been doing it's all 3D printed and custom molded, and like he's doing it all piece by piece. So,
it's slightly related. So my wife has been watching these like I don't know, it's like TLC or something like that, where it's like the crazy homes, and one guy had taken a like I don't know if it was like a 737 or something like that, and then put it in this like giant like hangar looking thing, and then converted it into like a house. So like the part of the fuselage was the house.
That's cool.
So yeah, so like had bedroom and all that stuff. Like it was awesome. Also, there was a place that was from my hometown in York where the guy like converted a missile silo into a house.
I've heard
10
of
miles
those.
away from me.
Yeah, I heard of one where it was a documentary, but it was like a cult thing where this like billionaire dude basically the story got really dark, where he was just basically started a cult, drugged people up with like LSD and all this stuff, and they lived inside a missile silo, and the FBI was like trying to get this guy and find him because he was also pretty much a drug dealer too. I'm sure if you Google those words I've used, you'll find the story. It's a wild thing.
Oh, was that the one that was like in North Dakota?
That sounds right, maybe. Yeah,
I think that might be it. 'Cause it looked kind of like a pyramid, didn't it?
No.
Or maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
I don't know, but it was definitely.
I mean, most of the new decommissioned ones are up there anyway. So
yeah, but it's a wild. I mean, anybody who lives in a missile silo, you kind of have to be a little cautious about. I think it takes a little bit of a weird personality thing to be like.
Well, yeah, they converted. It wasn't the actual silo itself. It was like the control room next to it that got renovated.
Although, yeah, this one was like underground bunkers and then everything. Yeah,
full on the silo
there was
from Apple TV. Can we get
well? So there was a. I remember in college. I think it was either high school or college. There was a posting of an old decommissioned nuke silo that was for sale in Colorado, and the person had built a really cool farmhouse on top of it. And so the house was for sale. The only way to get to it was by your personal airplane, because that's how he flew in and out of. He had a little strip there. And he had done the first 3 levels of the nuke silo and were like fully renovated and part of the house. And it looked gorgeous. And then it had 98 more levels that were not done yet.
That's insane. 98.
And so it was, yeah. And then, and so I just remember talking to my friends about it, and I was like, man, I would have a dodgeball level. I would have an arcade level. Like each level would be a different theme, right?
It would be so much fun. Out if like the elevator stopped working or like the electricity went out. It'd be like, I'm in a dark, I'm like 90 floors down and I got to walk up in the dark. It's like,
especially because if you get stuck in that elevator and nobody else is home, like you fly to get to that house. Like there's no one there, period.
If you've got that kind of money, you've got some, security detail or whatnot that you can probably have on site.
The funny thing was, it was only like again, this was back when I was in high school or early college, but it was like
back in the
2.1 million or something like that. Yes, back in the 1900s.
Worth it.
Right.
Anyway, so what I'm doing other than 3D printing, bring us all the way back. So Braden over at Little Bug Woodworking, so he's been working with Pete Squared on some of their 3D print stands, and I went up and I helped him do a little bit of sanding on some of those with some of the post-processing off of the CNC. And then, so what I did was I went over there, did some sanding, and then I brought back some of the pieces that needed additional sanding. So then when I go back to sand over there again, I'll even have more to give back to him. So filling a little bit of that time for me, because it's like, I like doing sanding. I enjoy it because I can like throw on a podcast or whatever, just kind of like chill as I'm doing it. So it's like the thing that I focus on, because it's like I just like going through that progression of getting something smoother and smoother until it's like where it needs to be. So that was enjoyable. It's also fun, especially since I'm a one-person shop, being in a shop space with another person, where it was just like refreshing to be around other people actually doing stuff. So that kind of helps, because sometimes you can get in a little bit of a rut where it's just like you're just drudging along with all of your projects, and it's just you and your thoughts and but yeah, that was good. So I did that, and then I think when we recorded last, I can't remember if had I finished the tramming CNC video?
Yeah.
Oh, I had.
We talked about it in the last show.
Okay, yeah. That video has been doing pretty darn well. It's getting
doing
good
very
traction.
Well.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that one. It ended up performing really well, so I was really happy with how that performed. So I'm working on, because I'll probably be using Mr. Duffey's, one of his files for one of the next video that I'm making for that one. So that'll be what I'm making next on the CNC or some stuff. So watch the video to see what of Mr. Duffey's I'll be making.
There you go.
Exactly.
So what hasn't been going well in your shop?
Holy shit, I have so many things. All right.
Okay. Narrow it down. Short episode.
All right. So, one of the times when I was trimming up one of my 3D prints, I literally like hacked off a piece of PET G that literally went into my eye. So that was terrible. Like we're talking like a sizable piece, like
yeah, you guys don't
like
wear glasses,
size.
right? Like all the time, because I it's something that I don't.
I wear
like,
safety glasses.
I'm just like trimming off edges on it, so it's like it's just fine. But like it was one of those scenarios where I was like, you kind of like come down on it and it just like pops out to the side. Like I've never had them fly off like that.
Yeah, I never think about safety glasses because I always wear glasses unless I'm like doing something really dangerous. I put it on, but it's just things hit me in the glasses all the time. Like, oh, geez, I'm glad I have glasses on. But people who don't like normally wear glasses,
usually when I'm in the shop or whatever,
safety
I've got
glasses for all the close-up stuff.
Because usually like when I'm in the shop, usually what I'll do is I'll put on my full face respirator because like if there's enough chunks flying around, there's stuff in the air. So I get the air filtered and I get the eye protection all in one. Because ever since I had LASIK, my eyes have been super sensitive to what's in the air. But anyway, the other thing that I had, so when I was 3D printing, and this was all my fault, where I had gotten a spool tangled. And so what I did was I kind of like backed it out, pulled the spool off of, this was the AMS light, so you can kind of pull it out easily. And I was able to back enough filament out and like undo the knot from the side. Because if you've got a knot, you can take if you've got enough like slack on it, you can actually pull the whole roll through that knot to undo it. So I was proud I was able to do that as the printer was printing, so that I didn't have to like change out another roll of filament or whatever. And then the one 3D print that was like giving me the biggest pain in the ass this past week was I was printing it's like the Doc Ock accessory for like dummy 13s, because my son has a friend, like they'd gotten him a dummy 13 for his birthday, and they're like, hey, can we get this like Doc Ock accessory thing? So like, oh yeah, sure. And this thing was like the most cursed print I have ever experienced, because like I could like I literally could not get it to print. Like I was going between like fresh clean plates, going from just the regular textured plate to cool tack plates, and going between PLA and PETG. Like the parts are just so small that there's just like no surface area for it. Like, because usually when I did, because I don't really do much dummy 13 printing anymore because they were so difficult, but the only ones that really did well was the ones that were on like the kit cart, because there was more surface area to keep the rest of everything down, and then you just like clip it out when you're done with the print. So I'm gonna stay far away from the dummy 13s. So those are definitely not beginner friendly.
Well, there's certain models that just aren't designed for 3D printing. Like they designed it to be cool, but it's just like no consideration into how it should be printed was put into the design.
Yeah, because when I try new stuff, it's like sometimes you just gotta try it to see like, this is really cool, but is it actually gonna print consistently and actually be able to like do well? One other thing that I had a layer shift on these like dragons that I do, and it was like maybe on like the 5th or 6th layer. So it's like, oh yeah, like I can trim that. So I'm using a razor blade to trim that, and I just like right into the tip of my finger on the other one. And it was like, we're talking like just below the fingernail, just like the full width. Like it sucked. I don't know if you
I see it. Oh, that
that hurt, because it's like the ones where it's like you can feel how deep it is, and you're like, oh, here comes the so yeah, that was a big pain in the butt. And then the other two that I have are just kind of like house ones, because they're kind of like in the shop. But I had my bathroom fan light timer thing died on me. And so I go to change it, and I was like, okay, just switch off the breaker. All right, lights in the bathroom are done. I'm going to take this out. And then it just sparks the crap out of it. I'm like, what the hell? So I go back down. There's a different breaker that's tripped, and apparently they put in a different breaker to like route extra power in to run this fan. So it's just like the weird breaker crap in the house, where it's like, well, this breaker goes to like this room over there and this circuit, and it's just like that more weird stuff where I had to like relabel and like write more on the side to label it. So when I had finally gotten that fixed, the lights down in my shop, I have one of those pieces that it goes in the light socket, and then it gets a couple of the little 2-prong outlets so that I can get some of those shop LED lights. So that kind of like was flickering. So like, all right, I'll tighten this up. And then when I twist it, the freaking socket breaks. So I'm like, oh my God. So
the electrical work? Nephew Thomas, he's very handy. What year did his house burn down? Years. How do you know it's Alfred?
Yeah, and also when I looked where that socket broke down, like the wires that were in there were, God, they were so freaking small. I was like, oh my God.
I have the exact same thing over there where the socket broke, and it's like the old ceramic, like underneath, and it's cracked, and I see the wired, like the mesh sheathing, like that's how old the wires are. It's the mesh.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've got those too.
And it's like exposed up there, and like I know nobody's ever gonna touch it, but it's like one of those things that I'm like, yeah, I'll fix it one day. And
yeah, so yeah, since that broke off on the inside of there, and I couldn't get the end of the socket thing out, I'm just like, I'm just gonna take this socket fixture out because it's the generic white ceramic one. So I took that off. I had a spare one that actually has a 3-prong outlet like baked into it, so I used that instead to plug in the rest of those LED shop lights that I use in that shop space. So it's just like, gosh, the past few months, it's just been like nothing has been easy. Every like little thing is like becomes like a 3 or 4 hour endeavor, and of course,
welcome to adulthood.
Yeah, I know, it's the worst. So after the fair, we come up to the first week of school, which also means it's the first week of me coaching cross-country practice. And then, we're already on the second week of school here.
The hell?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, we go early. So, and then for the first week of school, my wife is out of town in Vegas with her mom for the Wizard of Oz showing at the Orb. So, like, it's just me and my son.
Sick.
And I'm doing like the cross country coaching and doing the, like, how it is when you get like a bajillion forms the first week of school to fill out, and like download Zoozle and find your assignments on Bop and get your transportation stuff and God knows what. Oh my God, so many things. So yeah, it's been a couple of weeks.
It's been a week.
Apparently.
Yeah.
It's been a week for months.
Yeah. Mine's very quick. My shop is a mess. It's driving me crazy, but I don't have time to clean it. So that I keep tripping over things and poking myself with sticks that need to be picked up and put in scrap pieces and so on. And my other one is the shot glasses I've been working on for the Sea Gypsy. I hate lasering glass. It sucks because they didn't want the frosted etched look. They wanted it actually black, which then you have to use a coating on top of it. And then it's just a pain in the butt to get it right with glass because it smears so easily and everything. And I think out of the 60 shot glasses I purchased, I only got 45 of them right because it's so much trial and error on it.
Because it took you like 20 glasses to get to your like first one, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Because I remember seeing when you had them all like lined up in a picture.
Yep. Yeah. So, but I think I finally dialed it in and have the right mixture because I'm using titanium powder and white Elmer's glue and some other stuff to do it properly. And it's chemistry and it's a nightmare and I hate chemistry. Yeah. But Dave,
watch
anything not go well
in the background as you're working. That'll help.
I've been having a fantastic week. I don't know about you guys. I've had okay. So earlier I talked about the little tiling thing I was doing with the 3D printing, and of course, when you're creating content, everything looks perfect. But when I was making it, I actually I didn't add chamfers to the tiles to put them in.
Bro.
So like they fit too well, and there was a lot of overhangs and underhangs that like in like. When I wasn't thinking when after I made it and I tiled it up and I sent it to the printer, and after like 6 hours of printing, luckily I only did one tile to see if it fit right. But I did it and I was just like, oh, like this is so dumb of me that I didn't think about this, because I didn't even try putting it in. I just took it out. I'm like, this is not going to fit in there. So I went back to the drawing board and then just kind of add these huge chamfers to it, and then I ended up sending it. Didn't fit because there was a tiny bit of like where the grout used to be that was empty or was there that was getting hung up. And Ended up slicing that off. So this is like print number 3 or 4 now for one tile. And then after that one fit, I knew the other 2 would fit. And the fit was so tight, I had to take like a soft mallet to like hit it in. So when I do end up taking it out, I have to use like a grabbo or something to like suction it up, because there's no like way to actually grip it unless I chisel in where the old grout was. But anyway, that was one thing. The other thing isn't really about a making thing. It's more about selling equipment and dealing with Facebook Marketplace and people who are crazy. And that's been my week.
Crazy people on Facebook, never.
Yeah, I know. Just the craziest people ask a million questions and don't have any interest in actually buying it, or they're like, "Oh,
is it still available?
Is it still available?
Is it still available?
Yeah, you guys all know it. So that's what I'm dealing with, and that's it. Yeah.
I think if you say, "Is this still available?" 3 times in the mirror, I think. Oh, why am I blanking on his name? Mark at Wynwood. Is it Mark?
Yeah, Mark at Wynwood.
Yeah, he'll show
he
up.
appears. Yep.
This is why I try not to sell anything. I try to like give it away, or I'll like
yeah, same.
You know, it's just so much hassle. But this thing is yeah.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Well, speaking of selling, let's talk about what you're selling. So very quick update for me. I've been off of markets for 2 weeks. So my first market is this weekend. I took 2 weeks off, which I was excited about and could focus on other things, but just a nice little break. Yeah, that's it. Mr. Adams.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I had the county fair, which is my, like, as of right now, is the, like, largest event that I do. It's across, like, 4 days. And that one, like, I didn't run out as much of stuff as I did the previous year, because I, like, knew to be a little more stocked up on things. But there were still a few things that I ran out of. Like, I've got these like rocket launcher things that kids love, where it's got a big fire button that's in red to shoot stuff. That one was always popular. I could barely keep up on that one. And then all of the like EVs and evolutions that I sell that are like little articulated things, those are always popular. You know, dragons are always popular. Lots of just Pokemon stuff in general, Pokemon cards and whatnot. And then I actually had, it's another person that's in the same little 4-H BB gun club that my son is in. So a while ago, I made out of a piece of scrap walnut. What you do is you have like all of your BBs that you're shooting for your target. Like you put them in the same target pattern in a grid on it. So then you know which one you've shot after you've pulled the BB out of there. Oh, and cool. So one of the other parents is like, hey, can you make us one? And because I laser engraved his name on it. So like, hey, can you make us one? And, you know, put her name on it and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I'll make that. So I'll eventually get around to doing that. That's a fairly simple one. That one I've played around with potentially doing that one on the CNC. My main debate has been, because on the original one, I used a Forstner bit because the tip of the Forstner bit is enough that it holds the BB on there. And then the rest of what the Forstner drills down into makes it so that like your fingers can actually fit down far enough to grab the BB. So I've played around with the idea of using the what's the name of the bit that makes like the juice groove? I can't remember the actual name of it.
A bowl bit.
The bowl bit. Of just using a bowl bit in there, so then it's just that nice kind of circular shape.
Concave.
And it's just going, yeah, that thingy, that math term. Doing it that way, because it's like, it's nice to have it just self-center in there really easily. So we'll see if I do that on the CNC or not. I might. And then let's see, what else have I been selling? But yeah, I did really well at the county fair. I did like 2,500 in nice. Sales over that 4-day extended weekend. So I did really
That's awesome.
Well. That was like, gosh, I think the previous year I got like, was that like 1,600, I think? But I wasn't nearly as prepared, and I didn't have, like, I ran out of stock, out of stuff, because that was the first time that I had done it that year. So, I did pretty darn well this year.
Hey, now you get to buy new filament.
Yep, I've got my... Well, they're doing their back-to-school sale right now, but that's just for students. It's like, I guess I'll just wait for the Christmas sale. Because that's what I do, is I just wait until... Cause so far I've usually mostly used the bamboo filament, so I like buy it like basically every time they do one of their like major sales. I buy like probably about $1,000 in filament that lasts me like a super long time, but you get everything at like the discount rate.
Mm-hmm.
But that lasts me a long time.
You could also buy filament in bulk, like not just like through those rolls, but like buy like a 5 kilogram roll of black, right? And then it is way cheaper. If you print like certain colors all the time, there is just an issue of like spending the time to respool it if you want like it on, if you like want to print it in the AMS, or if that's the issue. But you can have like, you can make a respooler, but it is significant savings, because if you're going to make money off of 3D printing, your overhead is basically filament costs. So if you're gonna
whatever you do to drive that down,
right. So
there's it's one of those things too where it's like the 3D print room that I have is like, it was the smaller of the two offices in the house, and I'm like bursting at the seams there. So I need more shelving to like get stuff, because I've got an entire like wall of shelves of my like PLA, and then I've got another shelf with all the PETG that I have, and then I've got some of the PETG that's like, they're in like Ziploc bags like on the ground. So I need to get some better storage for that.
I feel your pain. Yep.
So then I can have more new toys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. I've been tempted to buy more printers, but I've resisted the urge just very surprisingly well.
Do it.
All right, so this week in What You Watching, okay, we have been on a break for a couple of weeks in between our episodes, and for those in the maker community, you know that it's been a rough couple of weeks in the maker community. We're not going to rehash out. I think the moment has passed as far as people just talking about
everything
it over and over again.
Has been said.
Yeah, exactly. But we did want to say, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, some women have come forward with allegations of abuse and predation and just horrible things towards Justin Maybe, who has been in the maker community for a while. And yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks for the maker community. So we just wanted to say here at What You Making that we absolutely do not condone any type of that kind of conduct, any type of predation, and believe women when they come forward with these type of things. Don't just ignore it. It is sad that it has taken a man to come forward and say things for these women to be heard. And yeah, with that said, I wanted to call out Dead Rise Woodcrafts, made an incredible Silence is Complacency inlay. It was a beautiful, wonderful use of their talent to talk about what has been going on in the community, and just to put a moment forward by taking that, as I know too, while I was watching all these stories and everything come through, that anxious energy I had to put it towards putting something beautiful out there was great. So really wanted to give them a shout out for doing that.
All right, and then the first one that I have is from Daniela over at gray_elephant_goods. And one of the projects that I came across, I think she did it a couple months ago, but I just came across it, was she had this like last minute request for someone to make a life-size Bigfoot cutout. And they're like, hey, can you do this by tomorrow? And she's like, I got you. And she just like banged out this like awesome Bigfoot cutout. So I'm just like, this is like, I'm surprised it wasn't Duffey asking her for this. Because it's right up your alley.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was really fun.
I'm surprised I didn't see it, so I need to go look for it.
Yeah, this was a couple months ago. Times of Construct. I think maybe it was in July or something like that. I don't remember. What month is it again? Wake me up when September ends.
Yeah, Dave.
Yes. I mean, I've been following a bunch of new accounts lately that are kind of like maker adjacent. One is tech.explain1, And it's a really awesome account where this guy just kind of breaks down technology and how it works to you. And it goes anywhere from like how a USB-C cable is different from other USB-C cables, how like a Raspberry Pi works for certain things. And it's just all tech. So like that's just, just touching the surface of all the stuff that they do. And they do it in a really smart and quick paced way, perfect for short form content. Check out the account. It's really good.
They show us how to download more RAM, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. How to get around all the crazy prices of RAM.
Yeah. The next one I want to shoot out is We Are Makers. So edition 19 of the We Are Makers magazine came out. If you're unfamiliar with them, go to Instagram. It's We Are Makers. It is a husband and wife couple in the UK that makes this wonderful magazine about makers across the world. They travel to all of these makers. They meet them. They take photos and they tour their shops and tell their story. And they've recently, in the last couple of months, since I last talked about these guys, they have got to the point now where they're selling enough subscriptions to this that they have the We Are Makers grant, which every edition, so every quarter when this comes out, there are 2 more makers that they have select that apply for the grant, and they get a grant of money to help work their workshop and stuff. So it is a great cause. They're also working on something brand new that is coming that they just sent out to current subscribers. I'm not going to talk about it because it's kind of under wraps still, but it is something cool coming. And they are currently working on the 20th edition. They're actually in Colorado, I believe, right now, traveling, visiting someone there from I saw on their Instagram. So go check it out.
It's very cool.
Okay. Next one that I have, someone that we've seen a lot of because they make awesome stuff. Sawdust Imagery. So they make basically versions of this little robot, and the one that they made, they had the chest with a cavity that they had made specifically for a dandelion. And they showed the reel of their progression of placing this dandelion in there because and I don't know if because they didn't show, I can't remember if they filled it with epoxy or if they put gold glass covering on either side of it. But they had kept the stem of the dandelion so they could feed that through the hole in the bottom to make sure that it stays centered in that hole that is in the chest cavity. And of course, this is of a pink resin infused curly maple, so it looks just astounding, like just the amount of colors that it has. So like the end result was really awesome with that dandelion in that chest cavity.
And for those who don't remember, that is Lenny. He's down in California, and he also has a book about those robots that he made as well, which is really fun. I have it downstairs. It's not here in my office, so otherwise I'd show it.
So next for me, I guess, there are 2 different maker accounts or 2 different Instagram accounts. One is Jose Naranja, Jose_Naranja, who he does these journals. He makes just incredible journals where he scrapbooks, he draws, he has amazing handwriting, all things that I'm jealous about that I'm doing currently. So and the other guy is Johnny C. I'm going to butcher his last name. Scortino. It's SCIORTINO_art. And his account is also teaching about drawing and how to sketch and how to do perspective and all that kind of stuff. And I'm always trying to find tips and tricks for both those things of journaling and sketching inside my journals. And in the last couple of years, I've been doing that a lot more that I used to do, 20 years ago when I was a teenager and also in college. And this now, with all the information going on, like just constantly being bombarded with things and life feeling like it's moving too fast, I'm slowing down by journaling and sketching and scrapbooking and just taking things I collect and putting it into a journal. So those are other ways of making that I think is really cool that people should consider.
That is awesome.
Yeah, because I had I had actually gotten, it was supposed to be this like little sketch booklet, and what I thought it was like an instruction on how to like draw little things to like progress your skills of drawing things. But all it was empty pages with prompts saying like, draw a dandelion or draw a butterfly. And I was like, well, this isn't helpful. Like, this is for someone who's already like developed the skill and they're more so like maintaining, as opposed to me, where it's like, I don't really have a very well developed artistic drawing skill, and I wanted to like have a little bit of direction.
Those things could help, because like some people just like get hung up on like, oh, what should I draw, right? Or
yeah,
like,
that's true.
And then it helps you once you do it, like seeing your progression like a year from now, going back to that and be like, oh, that dandelion was pretty terrible, but I've gotten better. You know, like those things are useful in their own ways.
Right. Yeah. Because like I said, it was like, what I had envisioned with it was like, you know, when you see people drawing in perspective, where it's like, say they're drawing an owl, and it's like, you know, they draw a couple of circles for the eyes and then like the circle for the body and that kind of stuff, where it's like thinking in those types of shapes.
Yeah.
And drawing in that manner
that's
was
that
like,
account. So Johnny Scarantino.
so that is what, okay. Because that's kind of what prompted me. I was like, it sounds like this is the missing link that I was looking for.
Yeah. He shows you how to like do perspective better and tricks you can use, and like how to shade better and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Nice. My next one is Isabel Zab Studios. She is fairly new to Instagram, only a couple of months on her account, and is a sculptor. And there's a piece of granite that she took and then did a cutout of Wile E. Coyote. And so it literally just looks like
that is
Wile E.
awesome.
went right through it. It's so simple but so beautiful at the same time. Yeah,
perfect
and so
timing
it's just fun
with the movie coming out. I wonder if she did it
right.
on purpose.
I'm sure. But yeah, I thought that was really impressive. So especially, I mean, I want to know how she cut it with the marble. That's, you know,
water jet
material. So
well, yeah, the water jet would be like, especially with that level of detail and the support that you would need, having something to back it. Because I was like, if she did that by hand, like, oh my god. But
well, she definitely posted the first attempt was in half.
Oof.
So,
I could see it being like technically challenging because of the intricacy of that and like all the little twists and turns there.
The thinnest part of the frame. I think she increased the size, the width. It looks like.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So yeah. Anyways, that's my next one.
That's pretty cool.
All right. Next one that I have. It is, I don't know if it's DAAV. So it's DAAV period, and then DAAV period, DAAV period, DAAV. Like that's their account. So it's like, I want to say Dave, or, you know, kind of like Beetlejuice or whatever. So like what they've posted a lot of are these bronze sculptures that they make. So what they have done is they have taken sticks that they have found. They add like a little trigger or like a little hammer on the back to kind of like emphasize, like, you know, when you're a little boy, like getting like stick guns. So what he does is he takes these sticks, adds those little features on there, and then he casts it in bronze and makes these bronze, like they're just really, really cool looking, because you've got that like organic shape, and then the like, you know, the little trigger and stuff like that they add in there, the little juxtaposition between the like the imagination of like playing with toys versus the, you know, the actual item. So it was just very interesting, where it's like doing bronze sculptures, because like casting to me is like, it's a really cool but also difficult process when you're casting metal like that. So that was a really awesome couple of reels seeing that stuff.
Any more for you, Dave?
Oh yeah, I got one more. Sorry, I forgot whose turn it was. Another account is Alan Peters. He's a, I guess, graphic designer. His account, he remakes logos and brands, and it's really awesome to see the creative process of what he goes through to redo logos. And he's done like very established logos like Citibank or I can't think of the other ones right now, but there's tons of logos. Oh, like Delta, and And some of these logos, I'm like, these could legitimately replace the real logos that are going on. And he goes, and the way he does like these kind of scrap paper visuals and talks about his thought process, and it's visually really appealing and satisfying. And as a like art school kid, you hear the critique on what he's thinking when he's designing it, how it would benefit them, and it really gets you thinking about your own designs and how the how you should be thinking when you're making something. How if it's simple, if it gets its point across, if it's usable, like it carries not just through logos but through design in general. And I think seeing accounts where people who are masters of their craft is very satisfying, and it's also inspiring to be better at what you're doing.
So when he's redesigning these, the first thing that pops in my head is like when people are like, hey, make a 80s logo for insert like new brand here or something like that. Is he just generally redesigning it, or is he kind of like going like a certain direction, like a certain artistic flair to it?
Yeah, so like that's a great question. So he's basically taking the existing logos in some of them and saying why the logo is problematic, even though it's been around. Like maybe it's not great as a memorable logo, or that the design itself has these weird angles that don't match up, or maybe there isn't, there should be a hidden symbol within it that illustrates what the company does. Like FedEx has a little arrow in there, like arrows and stuff like that. So he breaks it down into a lot of these different things for different logos. And then there's a symmetry, there's colors. So he thinks about a lot of these things as he goes. And in recent reels, I think his account has blown up that he's actually being hired to do rebranding of other people. And then he'll actually discuss what the client's needs are and how they're feeling with an approach. And then he'll talk about his like iterative design and like the variations that he'll do and what he'll present to the clients. And then from the clients, he'll choose a couple. And then from there, he'll refine it. So it's cool learning to see his process. But then there's other videos where it's just kind of straight up like this is how he designs it. It's better. And he does this thing where he does like a pencil drop on top of the artwork, which is like a mic drop, which is like really cool. The guy's got good flair.
His own version of Salt Bae.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great account. Just good content.
That's awesome. My last one is a account called Betweeny Babies.
Good name.
And I want to read you the description of this account, which is my favorite part. The artist says, the OG vegan taxidermy at an intersection of nostalgia and nightmare in Atlanta, Georgia. So she specializes in making Beanie Babies taxidermy. So she cuts the Beanie Babies in half and puts them on wooden plaques, like they're like in the example I'm showing, the moose head on a plaque.
That is so
she does this with
dark.
Right?
That says millennial cabin to me.
Yeah.
Right?
And also they're like this big. They're like tiny.
They're tiny. And she's so backstory. My mom was fucking obsessed with Beanie Babies. Like my Saturdays growing up were waiting in line in -2 weather in Minnesota at a Hallmark for them to open up to get the newest Beanie Baby. And because my mom would give me $20 and say, you got to go buy the new one because they were only one per customer. So she got around that by dragging me along so she could get two, one for her and one for her, savings for when it's going to be big money. It never fucking was.
Do you think it's possible for it to be big again?
No, absolutely not.
No?
I think this is the one, like Pokemon came right back around and has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Beanie Babies? No, especially because the guys who founded them is like child molester. At least what I understand, like there's definitely some background there. At least that's what I remember hearing at one point. But I kind of wish
there'll be like a 30-40 year from now resurgence in it. I'll call that right now.
I'm calling that this is going to be it, because so my mom passed a few years ago and my dad unfortunately donated all the Beanie Babies, because now I'm like, man, I wish I had them, because I would totally do this. Because
like all
she's
your
selling
mom,
them for $60 a piece.
But could you imagine all the ones your mom had with their heads chopped off on your back wall, like 100 of them? Like,
man, that's some Norman Bates shit right there.
That's amateur level.
Yeah.
She had at least a few, between 2,000 and 5,000.
Oh my gosh,
when she passed.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
you gotta have at least a storage unit full of them.
That's what it was. All in totes.
Yes.
Anywho, that was my last one. Alex?
All right, I got 2 left that I'll go through. First one is from BM Sculptures. I gotta enunciate. Yep. So he had a Ford GT40 that he carved out of a single piece of Honduran mahogany, and then he added the racing stripes with curly maple. So, I mean, of course, the GT40 is an iconic design, and, you know, add to that someone who's good at carving stuff, and it just looks very well done. All right, and then my next one is, I think it's Mizell Woodworks, so Mizell Wood. Did I spell it wrong? Wood O Works, or maybe it's Woodworks, but it's WORX. Anyway, you'll figure it out. So they had this really awesome marquetry piece where they had this girl, she's got like braids or whatever, and she's like blowing a kiss where it's like basically butterflies flying in the direction that her hands are going, and then some other butterflies flowing in a direction as well. So it's just like a really, really nice, like the amount of artistry of the scenery just pulling together super well, especially with the scale of the different butterflies that are like closer or further away, and playing with that perspective is just very, very well done, which is, you know, not an easy thing to do.
Awesome. Okay, well, on to our main topic of the night.
Boy, the humans know me as Dr. Octavius Brine, renowned geneticist, cheese enthusiast, and frequent donor to NPR Pledge Drive. But you know me by a different, much older name. A name perhaps you'd hoped you'd never hear again. Phantom, a shadow of a former life.
What was that from?
What is that from?
I have no idea. Some cartoon, but it popped up on my soundboard list under Dave.
It sounded like John Malkovich.
It was John Malkovich,
yeah, nice.
But yeah, so no idea. I have to Google what that was from.
I was like, is that from a movie with John Malkovich? I'm trying to think of it. But okay, that's awesome. Amazing.
Yeah. So anyways, our main topic tonight is starting 3D printing with Dave. And
okay, real quick.
Before we
Penguins of Madagascar is what that is from. He's the octopus.
Yes. Okay.
That's what I was thinking. Like I was thinking of like some like octopus like evil guy, but I couldn't remember what movie it was from.
Yes, that would make sense because it says the name of the clip is Octopus Dave.
Octopus Dave.
All right. Sorry, I've gotten that out of my system.
By the way, octopus is one of the best mascots for a maker. Just because the hands doing different things, the intelligence, figuring things out, puzzles. Great.
Being a part of Hydra.
Yeah, totally.
Well, okay, so going to our main topic, 3D printing, I actually think an octopus is one of the first things you should print, because especially one of the movable ones, because you learn a lot. For example, 1 second, don't think away. You should definitely print. The thing you should print is the Rocktopus.
I remember seeing those.
Yeah, I remember. I was going to say the original, you know how like there's the Benchy, right? There was a time where there was an octopus that was also a test print, and it was one of the first things you print. I don't know if it was the squiggly one, but the rock is a classic.
So I modified this one to put holes in his head because I when I first got a 3D printer, I printed a bunch of these and sold them as Christmas ornaments.
Nice. I would say I thought maybe you would put that as one of those the light switch pullers. You know, you put the
that's an idea too.
Yeah. Because I had the Stormtrooper helmet that I did with that.
We have one in our den. I might have to replace. I might have to go put this in there.
All right. So talking about the light switch pull things, if you ever remembered any of the Mario games, the underwater things, those little squids.
Yes,
that would be cool.
That's good too. Yeah,
yeah, it would. So let's talk about 3D printing. And before we go any further, I have to ask Dave, how many 3D printers do you have at this point in that house?
Man,
not just hooked up. Like, how many do you have hiding?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
6, 7,
9, 10. I think 10 that I can think. Oh no, 11. I think 11 at this moment in time. 11.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're all different. Like, there's not. Like they're all unique 3D printers, not all of the same model or anything. But it's
And which is your favorite child?
I really like the H2C, the new H2C from Bamboo. It's if I could have one printer, that'd be the printer I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
That's a big,
screw you, Ender.
That's yeah.
Trust me, this podcast is not a fan of Enders because I ended up buying a Bamboo because I've had 2 Enders that freaking sucked. So
I mean, they're the budget printer. I mean, we're talking like they're worlds apart, different.
Yeah, but not just that, they just suck. They don't work. It's a lie. I think the video that they sent is a lie, and it's just
which version
they've never worked.
Which version?
I had the 3 SES or whatever.
Okay, that's an older one.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
And before that, I had an Anycubic that my work bought me to play around with.
Yeah,
that was even worse.
They can be. They again, these are budget printers. Yeah. I mean, so I guess we'll get into, if you want to get into 3D printing, what printer should you buy? And I'm going to recommend a budget printer, but I'm going to recommend a Bamboo Lab printer. So a Bamboo Lab A series printer, a A1 Mini, an A1, or an A2L. Fantastic printers. They're all sub 500 a little bit. I think the new A2L is a little more expensive. But yeah, you can have one for like, what is it? $300 or less. That's a pretty cheap way to get into the hobby and learn.
And that's before the AMS or the
AMS. Yeah,
package,
just get into printing. And if you want multicolor, add on like an extra like $150 or something like that.
Which is, in my opinion, obviously worth it. I mean,
it
depends on what you're going to print, but I think it, like, even if you are doing single color prints, I think it helps out significantly. 'Cause, like, it just handles a lot more stuff for you.
So I get DMs quite a lot about people asking about, what printer they should get, and money.
I messaged him that as well when I first got mine.
I did too.
And it's just that money, everything's expensive these days, and we have a lot of bills to pay. And I totally get when people don't want to get the AMS, and I always tell them, it's like, yes, you can get it later, but you're gonna be spending more money. Because the combo, if you buy it with the printer, is like $50 or so cheaper, and you're not paying extra shipping, right? So if you're buying it afterwards, you're paying that extra $50 because you're buying it by itself, and you're paying the shipping for that. And it's not, it's just not economical. But because you're going to get it eventually, right? You're going to be like, I want to print things with many colors in it, and you need the thing to do it. But yeah, things are expensive these days, and I totally get it.
Yeah, well, I like in my kind of like notes where I started to break this down, I basically listed off a bunch of different categories of stuff that a lot of people print in, which can also inform that decision of like which printers make the most sense. Because like there are various toys and games that you can print. I've talked about keychain stuff that I've printed. You can do earrings if you want. You can do things for like cosplay costumes, miniatures if you're into like Warhammer or other types of things. More functional stuff like zero clearance inserts, or if you're like, I mean, if you're in a workspace, like sometimes in like research or prototyping where it's like you need something very close to like an injection molded version of whatever that product is. It's like that's how I got started in 3D printing, like, God, almost 15 years ago is when I first started getting into 3D printing. Because I never owned a 3D printer for a very, very long time because someone else printed it because it was super expensive back then.
Yeah.
And then like decor items for around the house, kitchen, bathroom, accessories, gadgets, or tools. And then like structural items where it's like, oh, you need a bracket for this one thing or something that like, you know, fits this certain shape or whatnot that like you can't find a replacement to. Like I've 3D printed I broke the nozzles for my little air gun thing that I have, of which I just broke another one, but I can always print more. So depending on kind of where you see yourself going in those, sometimes I can tell you what kind of printer that you're into, which, I mean, when it comes down to it, most of the ones that we see now are FDM printers, which are it was the one that Dave was talking about, where it's like a physical spool of plastic that feeds through and it does it, you know, layer by layer on that nice, you know, hot pad. That's the one that you most likely see.
Before I will just counterpoint to Dave, instead of going with the A1 or the A series, because that is $300. You are right. I just looked up the current pricing. I would say save up a little bit more to spend $500, because like Best Buy, for example, has the P1S combo for $500 at this point. So that's that's even beginner level at that point. So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good printers out there right now. I think if you went with any Bamboo Lab printer, you're in a good place, even if it's used and well taken care of, and you could find a good deal on it. That's a great place to start. There are other printers from different printer companies, but you might have to tinker with them more. But I think you know, to what Alex Adams was saying about you know, all the different aspects of 3D printing, it is every niche that's out there, every, you know, everything in terms of like sewing, even cooking, you can use a 3D printer for.
People 3D print on fabrics.
Yeah, clothing, and fashion and stuff like that, or making accessories. And it's really almost really difficult to not get a 3D printer, find a use for it if you're really thinking about it and making money off of it. If you do decide to, you know, sell something within your niche or even print something that other people have designed. But once you start making your own designs that are unique, it opens up new avenues of income. And, you know, I try not to make income from my making, but like my printers have easily paid for themselves off without even trying to make income, you know, from people asking for me to print something, and I'm like, sure, just, you know, like pay for the materials and like $5, you know, or $10, and it's just so easy to just get a couple of extra dollars here and there. And it really makes it accessible for people to start making things quite easily by like clicking a button. You know, if you have the difficulty of like this physical disability to get out there and make something, or the time, which is a lot of, you know, my excuse is that I just don't have a lot of time, but I can send the print and then go to bed and wake up in the morning and something's done. So yeah, that's my pitch.
And that's one of the things that's very nice about the A1 is that really where it shines is like when you do run into an issue, generally it's very easy to troubleshoot, and it's very well documented, and you don't necessarily have to be super technical to be able to solve it, because they've simplified the print head, which is what's doing all of the work in the printing, so that it's fairly easy to service. Because I've got two A1s and a P1S, and the P1S is great. It's more capable, but it's a little bit more difficult to troubleshoot once, you know, something pops up, because things pops up, like things jam, so, you know, something slips, or, you know, something comes up. But again, they're fairly well diagnosed issues, but the P1S, it takes a few more steps to service it. So like, especially if you're not like super technical, it's almost like, I don't want to like bring in like a super like comparison of it, but it's like when people think of the AK-47 as like the in terms of like, because it's very well recognized as something that can be abused and it still functions.
Yeah,
very well.
I see where you're going with this, but that's not where I thought you were gonna go.
Or I could go with the Toyota Hilux.
Yeah,
similar scenario. Of like,
so, with all 3D printers, you're gonna need to do some kind of maintenance and repair, because it's a machine, and every kind of machine wears out eventually. Bamboo does a really good job of providing documentation on how to do these things, with like even a QR code on the printer, like, hey, this thing's not working, scan this QR code to troubleshoot. And that all their replacement parts are really quite inexpensive and readily available to get within the next 2 or 3 days. But yeah, the A1, I 100% agree. I could dismantle the head in like 3 minutes to get a clear filament path, to make sure it's all clear if there's ever a jam. And that's like the fastest to any other printer out there I've been able to disassemble like the whole hot end. It's much easier than even, the printer I do like, the H series, although that is a little bit simpler than it used to be with the X1. I like getting these printers and seeing the evolution of how Bamboo tries to make it a little bit easier, see how Prusa updates their machines. That's kind of the joy of being in my position of getting these printers, and just seeing what the thought process goes into fixing them and making it better and easier for people to use.
I think my favorite part about too is exactly that, is how easy it's become.
Yeah.
That these are not just hobbyists anymore. These are basic. I think the whole goal is to make these just an everyday machine, as easy as your toaster, as bad as it sounds. That you can just, and that's what's really cool, is you can just go on the app, you can click print and have it download on your machine. And as long as you have the filament and you don't have to do a lot of settings, you just print it. Or you can go somewhere as super technical as what, like Dave, like you've got your 3D scanner and you can start 3D scanning things, or people. I have a mini me that Dave scanned a few years ago, and it's incredible to me the detail that you can get from something like that. Like, I can see the line of my undershirt in the back. I can see I was clenching my ass when he did it. Just so much detail. But yes, I was very puckered. Like, you can even see it's all just going right there. But I just love how easy things, like I have been messing around with some mesh communication devices, and I didn't like how big this box was. I needed something a little bit smaller, so I quickly printed a smaller version of it that I can fit into the spot that I've been needing to do. So like, cool. I love how it's so, you can be super easy or technical, but the hardware is still pretty much the same for somebody, which is really nice.
And pretty much any of these brands that you get something from have their own platform where you can search and find 3D models. So you don't have to design anything out of the gate, because like when I first got 3D printers, because my son wanted one, and so that's kind of how we got started with it. And it's like, I had the capability to 3D model stuff if I wanted to, but I didn't feel like it, because like I just didn't want to spend the time to do it. And you can, like they were saying before, you can download in an app, find the model on their platform, and send it to your printer. And as long as you got like basically the right colors, like you're pretty much good to go. Yeah, so you don't need a whole lot to get started.
Yeah, my
son is also 10, and he does it all the time.
Yeah, he has his iPad. He has the Bamboo Studio on his iPad. He finds the model. I just try to. It's hard for him to reach the filament, so I change the filament colors for him. But he would be like, "Hey, Dad, can you give me these colors, and I'll do it." And then he can do everything else. And that's his printer, basically, the A1. Whenever it's not in use, he can send whatever he wants to.
Yeah, and I know that with my printers, I've always stuck with the bamboo filament because it has the little QR code, or not QR code, the little RFID tag on there that like identifies the filament. Because I switch between filaments all the time, and I've had it catch for me before sometimes where I grabbed a spool of filament thinking that it was PLA and it was actually PETG, and it saved my butt on a print where it would not have printed correctly and would have caused an issue had it actually gone through. So it's saved my butt, and especially with, like you said, with kids, where it's like you load it in and it handles that stuff for you. It makes it even more foolproof.
Yeah.
So that it just handles more things for you. So you can you can have the enjoyable part with minimal technical input.
I mean, this is the best time if you've ever been thinking about getting into 3D printing and you are intimidated by it. Is the easiest time to get into 3D printers. I think when I started sharing on Instagram, 4 or 5 years ago at this point, no, 5-6 years ago at this point, hardly any woodworkers had a 3D printer. And now I feel like all my woodworking friends have a 3D printer. And it's just because it's just gotten so easy. Whereas back then it was a 3D printer didn't mean it was easy to use. Like you had the Ender, and it was just not that great of an experience, and that can really turn someone off of 3D printing if you just don't have that kind of patience and tinker and fix it mindset. So today it's just you plug it in, it works.
Yeah, and to touch a little bit on because we've mentioned a couple of different printer models, so just real quick for anyone who's listening who doesn't know some of the basic terminology. So the A1 is in the category of bed slinger, where the tool head, which is where the filament's coming out, or hot end, whatever you want to call it, there's various names for how many components are in there. So it slides essentially left and right, and then the bed where it's printing goes forward and out. And that bed is also, in most of these scenarios, they're heated to help the filament hold on to it as it's printing, so it doesn't fall off, so it knows where it is, as opposed to the ones where we talked about, like the P1S and the H2C. Those are your like Core XY, which is probably the one that most people are familiar with, because the print head moves in front and back and left and right, and then the actual plate that is printing on is the part that moves up and down. And those are like the two of the most common. Yeah. And the bed slinger is, because it's a simpler mechanism, it is a lower price point. However, because that bed moves, it can pose challenges if you're printing something that's essentially tall and skinny, because it can wobble and it can fall over. So that's one downside to it. Whereas with the Core XY, it's a little bit more robust with those types of prints. So there's some drawbacks on either of those sides. But I mean, even with the A1, it's just so simplified and easy to maintain that it's still pretty worth it. Plus you can slow down the print speed as well, which is it's an easy button that says go to silent mode or go to ludicrous mode for super fast printing. And there's some other printing configurations that you don't see as much, like the Delta style, which is the one that has the 3 arms that are kind of moving it around, that can get a really big workspace. Resin printers are the kinds that you see people use to make the little miniatures that are very, very fine detail. That's what you want to do if you're getting those very, very small, very detailed pieces. But they require a lot more upkeep in order to keep going. And there's lots of other ones, there's SLS printing and other stuff that I've done in the past. That's more for engineering type stuff, where you're trying to get almost the exact same as an injection molded plastic part, or things that they're using for research. Because in some of the research labs where I was in college, that are fluid dynamics labs that are doing mixtures of chemicals and fluids and other things, they were using printers to make very, very small channels to basically control the fluid flow down to a very, very minuscule scale. but not everyone needs that level of precision for what it is that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you don't see quite as many of those, because those are the the super high dollar printers that like it's needed for a specific case, but just generally not for the like general public.
Those printers have gotten way cheaper. Like it used to be like
I mean those were like
$500,000
6 or 7 figures for one of those printers is what they used to be.
Now you can get it for like 10-20 grand. It's pretty impressive. Like I wouldn't
factor of 10.
I wouldn't
less than what it
buy
was.
it, but I would love to have one, but it's doable, like it's, if you have a small business, a garage shop where you're actually producing like phone mounts for car parts that need to be nylon infused, right? Like that's like a great printer to have for that kind of thing. If you're making products that need to be nylon, is actually pretty good. But yeah, I think the FDM, the filament based printers have really won the convenience as well as the budgets for the majority of consumers out there. With the resin printers, like that is also cheap and accessible, but those run the risk of resin is always toxic, and there's odors and VOCs, and it's just really not a healthy thing to be around for people who have families or pets and stuff like that. And that's why FDM has been really kind of the de facto one that majority of people talk about,
because it's essentially like a fancy hot glue gun is really what it is.
Yeah,
when you scale it down very, very minuscule and controlled, because it's just layer by layer like that. Because it's, what is it? Is the acronym? Is it fused deposition something?
Yes, fused deposition.
Is it modeling?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Something like that. But so it's that bed slinger and the Core XY that I was referring to. These are under that umbrella of FDM. So those are two of those styles. But yeah, you do, and I also had you mentioning the nylon makes a nice transition over to talking about filament and what you need for that, because if you're doing like indoor versus outdoor stuff, so it's when you start doing outdoor or things that like need to take a beating, that's where you might need that Core XY printer that's enclosed that can actually filter that air. So if there are toxic off-gassing, because like you can 3D print in ABS if you so choose. There's some.
We could get into talking about safety, because all 3D printing filaments, PLA and PETG was the most common, do give off.
Those cover like 90% of like everything.
Yeah, and that's 99% of all the stuff that I print, even with the enclosure, even with the with the A1 that's open, is that PLA is actually really strong for the majority of things you're going to use.
And
right?
PLA is a type of plastic, just like PETG is a type of plastic. PETG is very similar to what your like plastic pop bottles are made out of.
Yeah. PETG is the same thing as the water bottles. PLA is a natural plastic that's made from cornstarch, so it's actually more environmentally friendly, quote unquote, because it still takes a long time to degrade. But all of these filaments do produce a certain level of VOCs when it's printed. So if you have concerns of health and stuff like that, do your research, do your homework in learning about it, because some people are concerned about those things. But the levels of VOCs, please compare that to other things in your home, like a gas stove, off-gassing from a sofa, a carpet, and take that into consideration when considering it, because those things give off VOCs too, right? So just
and Bamboo has recently came out with their PLA Pure, which is supposed to be no VOCs, correct? Or is it low VOC?
I think it still has VOCs, but it's not bad VOCs. I think, sorry, it does give off gas, but it's not VOCs, I think is what it is.
Yeah, like they're still gonna, like, you could probably faintly smell it, because like I don't think
it's toxic, because it's 5 ingredients and everything in there is like not bad for you. I forgot
which PLA is still pretty good to begin with. This is like the like getting the organic stamp on like your fruit or whatever from the store, where it's like it makes you feel extra good.
Sure. So the thing with
you have less chemicals in it.
Yeah, the enclosures have charcoal filters, activated carbon inside that actually do pull some of that stuff that passes through before it gets released out. So that might be something you can consider. Also, you could just have activated carbon filtration in your area that you work in, which I have down here. That's always constantly going. So those are things that you should take into consideration if you are concerned with those minimal levels of VOCs. But there are other engineering filaments, like you said, ABS. It's got a higher amount of VOCs and it's got the odor, like you could smell it. And then there's nylon, and then there's PEEK and all those other engineering filaments that honestly, like the majority of us are not going to use, especially in the first years that we're 3D printing, because you're
I only printed in PLA for like the first year that I had. It wasn't until like a year later that I started printing in PETG, where I started doing stuff where it's like, oh, it needs to be a little bit tougher and resistant, and like some or stuff will be outdoors.
Yeah, UV resistant to heat or something like that. Yeah, mainly it's a lot of concern is heat, but when you're starting doing a lot of things outdoors and you're worried about UV and how nature in the sun can just break down plastics over time. But yeah, those are engineering filaments, and they do require enclosures to print, and the prices of those can be really expensive too. And just like, again, majority of people do not need that level of like.
Yeah, because we're talking about stuff where it's like,
they're using it in
like
robotics,
mounts, or like helmets, or like stuff like that, where it's like it's gonna get hit with something. Like that's when you start needing engineering materials.
Yeah,
that are much
if you're
more
an
sturdy.
engineer, then yeah, it's separate. But like everyday use cases, majority of us are fine with PLA and PETG for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and even under the umbrella of PLA, they've come out with a lot of variations of PLA where it's like, I haven't used them. Have you used any of like the PLA Plus or like the PLA Tough or whatever those?
Well, I mean, a lot of us have used Silk, right?
Silk is the shiny version.
Yeah, it's not actually,
which is still
Silk,
stronger too.
Yeah, there's PLA Plus, there's glow in the dark, there's wood fills, there's metal fills, there's carbon fiber fills. So any version of PLA and PETG have like some kind of other substrate in it that you can use that changes the material quality of it, making it stronger, lighter, visual properties and stuff like that. So there's so much out there, and there's constantly newer stuff that's coming out that I spend a lot of my time just testing new filament. I have 5-6 rolls that people have just sent me just in the last 2 days of filament to try out. It's really fun if you're into that. I know there's people that just collect filament and just keep it forever and ever, because part of filament collecting is like there's limited edition colors and things that once they make it, there's never going to be that same color again. So people will hoard those colors. And
this can be your beanie baby, Duffy. This can be your version of your retirement.
Well, we should start wrapping up this section, but I do have a couple of rapid fire questions for you, Dave.
Okay, fire away.
First, favorite filament type?
Like material type?
Yeah, PLA, PETG, TPU, ABS.
Lately, it's matte PLA. Oh shoot,
matte PLA. Okay. What is your go-to filament brand?
Bamboo Labs.
Okay,
that's what I use.
You probably own it since you have 10 of them. But what's your dream 3D printer?
Oh, well, my dream 3D printer would be a 3D printer you could walk into.
So anything at Hatchex.
Yeah, like something big enough where you could walk into it and you could print out like a chair is a dream of mine. I just don't have physically the space for it.
Favorite color to print with?
Oh, it's always black, gray, or white for me in matte.
Okay. Most functional print that you've done for your house?
I have a coat rack that I not coat like a it's like a coat hook rack that I made with wood. That's like one of the earliest YouTube videos I ever made. But we use it every day consistently for the last like 7 years, I think.
Okay.
We're always walking in, putting stuff on it, putting it out. It's been perfect.
The weirdest thing you've ever printed?
Well, I don't know if it considers me printing it, but I had this whole series where I had let people send stuff to my printer without me knowing what it is and having it printed out. And I've had some pretty weird things come out of there, like a Pez dispenser of me, like my head, and it's a gigantic Pez dispenser. I've had a Jar Jar Binks Buddha come off of that printer. I've had a statue bust of Luke in the garage come off. Anything really weird has been through that series for sure.
Okay. Speaking of weird, weirdest material or strangest material you've printed with?
That's a great question.
Have you done any of the time plast where it's like the 3D print like soap or whatever? Because I keep on getting ads for the time plast, and I've never known if it's like a real thing.
I've gotten like antibacterial filament that you print out for like, this was big during the pandemic, and you like print out like little like door openers. I could never tell if it's actually working or not, and if it works inside the layer lines, I assume it does. But that was like a short-lived thing. There was like rust, like metallic filament that is built to rust, which is really cool.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah,
that's
it's like
cool.
It's actual iron, and when you print it and it rusts, it like it looks like a metal piece of thing. It feels heavy and it rusts. Like, that's cool. I don't know if it's weird. I mean, but it's so expensive.
That's cool.
It's so expensive. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to do was metal filament that you burn it out and it just becomes hard metal, but it's super expensive, and I wanted to make my huge katana sword that collapses and bring it to Chris Zepp's shop and burn out the plastic and see if I could like sharpen it and make it into a sword. Like, that's been on my list of things to do for a long time, but it would cost me like $1,000 to see if it would work, and I'm just like, that's a lot to spend on it.
Hey, just think about all that YouTube money though that you get from it.
Yeah,
tens of dollars.
Tens of dollars. Yeah.
All right, and then lastly, for those who are just getting started, what is the best first upgrade that they could do for their printer?
First, get a good build plate. Get something that like a textured plate. Sometimes the plate,
the textured PEI plate is a great, like it. I mean,
there's not a lot of upgrades you need to do other than like a good build plate. AMS if you don't have it. If you decide,
AMS is automatic material switching, I think. So it just, if you're changing colors, it does it for you when you're changing colors on like a multicolor print.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have mentioned that.
Honestly, like there's a lot of people who 3D print their own upgrades, and honestly, a lot of them just don't really do, like, it doesn't do much for it unless it's organizational stuff. The printers are so good on their own. You don't really need to upgrade them or change anything to do it. Not like printers of old. Like, these printers run so good. If you add stuff to it, you're almost like making it worse.
Because there's a few like
I would say
parts.
Caveat, a poop shoot. You should print a poop shoot.
Yes. No, that's good. No, poop shoot for sure. No, that's a good one. I stand.
And for those who are not familiar, poop shoot. So when it changes filament, it's got to purge the old filament, and it shoots it off to the side, and it is referred to as poop.
Yeah, and then on the P, the X, and the H, it's literally a slide that goes out the back. And if you don't have anything to catch it in the back, it literally just becomes a pile of like poop.
Printer poop.
Yeah.
And it can back up and it can jam your printer up, which I have to scoop it out a little bit.
It's just really messy. Yeah. No, that is a good print to upgrade. I definitely did that on all my printers. So yeah.
Yeah, having a way to dispose of that extra filament. You can do stuff with that extra filament. That's a whole other conversation. But I was also going to rapid fire a few like parts and extra accessories that are like just nice to have that you may not be aware of. So so the little nozzle where the filament comes out, like in the A1, it's super easy to swap out. Sometimes, like as Dave was talking about the different types of materials, sometimes with those extra abrasives that are inside of there, that can wear that nozzle down, and then your quality of your print is not as good as when you first had it. And these little I can't remember, is it hot end or nozzle? I can't remember what the
hardened. Oh yeah, it's
hot
nozzle.
end.
Yeah, it's a hot end.
Yeah. So the nozzle, you can get hardened steel, so it'll last longer. But these, we're talking like 10, maybe $15 for these. Like, these are super cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, like Dave was talking early in the conversation, most of these things are like dollars or maybe even like $10. So like you're not out a lot. So like
there was a time though that the hot end had a gem in it, and it was the ruby, and it was literally like $150. It was
Jesus.
Yeah. It
weird.
It sucked.
Yeah. So there's like gears in the hot end, or sorry, the print head that like feed through, and sometimes you can upgrade those to like a harder material, so then again it doesn't wear as easily. You've got the tubes that the filament comes through. Those are PTFE tubes. Those do wear out over time, but it takes a while. Like, I had to replace mine after like a little over a year of printing. Like, they do wear away, but it takes a long time. You will need a little bit of like oil or grease to lubricate the mechanisms as all of these parts are moving. Again, super easy to acquire. Like, it's not expensive.
Yeah.
And then hairspray for your bed, for your print bed, is a good thing, especially if it's just a textured PEI plate, which helps with because it's the release, right? Because it creates this thin barrier. Correct.
Well, it's release and also adhesion. So certain, depending on the material type, like PLA needs help sticking, and PETG needs help not sticking. Right? If you just had a straight PEI plate without an adhesive, like a barrier, the PETG would stick so hard to the PEI that you can actually rip parts of the board off to your print, and so the sticky barrier actually helps with the filament sticking, but also releasing when it cools down. So it depends on the material, but yeah.
And how often do you spray yours? Do you spray it every print, or just like every few prints?
Yeah, every few, like I would say every,
or just where it printed last.
Sometimes I mean, I always take the plate out of the machine to spray it, because I don't want any of the hairspray contacting like the
other
bearings
parts,
or whatever the parts. But I'll spray like every 4 or 5 times. If it's like, if I'm printing the same like spot over and over again, like, yeah, I would do a little spot spray on that area. But lately I've been using the bamboo glue stick, the little liquid one, just to test it out to see how it's going. And I actually like that, just because I don't like aerosol cans in my basement that's closed. Again, is another VOC thing that I have been. I love how clean the prints are with a hairspray, but it's also like, I just don't love that I'm vaporizing glue in my living area. So
yeah, like you said, like when you peel it off, like when I spray it, like I face the other direction because I know I'm gonna have a little bit of overspray. And you always use I use the, God, what is it, like the Tresemme brand, like it's like their freeze hold or something like that. They're like on the scale of 1 to 5, it's a 5.
Yeah, I use Aquanet from like the 80s. That's like the one, the go-to for like old school 3D printing guys. They love it.
Yeah, and then last thing, cleaning your print plate. So for that print plate for that bed where it's printing, if I'm running my printers like 24/7, like I need to clean it like with soap and hot water like once a week ish. So I mean, we're talking, let's see, how many hours is in a week? Gosh, I'm blanking on the math. 24 times 7. Let's see, 175-ish. 170.
It's a lot.
Around 180 hours of print time. Yeah. So like, and if you want to, you can also use isopropyl alcohol as well. And then rapid fire on accessories for print stuff. So a lot of people will put magnets in their prints, either as the back to stick on something, or they'll enclose it. bearings for stuff that goes around, like a 608 bearing, which is like, I think it's a skateboard bearing, is what a lot of people use for spinning stuff. Keychain hardware, earring hardware. You can print and sand or you can paint and sand your prints. I believe you have to use, is it acrylic paint directly on it, or if you had a primer?
Yeah. There's so many different ways of post-processing prints. Like if you're getting into cosplay and stuff, there's so many different techniques out there, and that's a big one. Yeah.
And then
we can do a whole episode just on that.
Yeah, super glue. Like I go through, like I just bought another like big thing of like, I like the Starbond thick super glue, because when it's thick, it doesn't like run everywhere. Like it'll stay in the same spot, and you've got a little bit more work time, and then you can spray your little accelerator spray if you need it to dry faster.
Yeah.
So those are some quick things that you can probably have on hand. And usually in those print files, like they call out stuff like this for like, hey, we used these magnets and these bearings in here, so this is what you'll need. So always check that if it's like, you know, a moving part or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All righty. Well,
good news, everyone.
So to do some quick maker news, IWF is happening while you're listening to this episode. It had just finished in Atlanta. But coming up next month, we have Handworks in Iowa, the Texas Woodworking Festival at the end of September. Remember, I will be there, and I'm teaching a class on Sunday. So make sure you come say hi and hang out. And then in October, we have the Vetric User Group meeting and the Maker Camp in the end of October. Dave, you had a few things you wanted to shout out.
If you want to get into 3D printing, there is a 3D printing East Coast meetup. It's a whole convention, actually. It's called Printopia. It's going to be in Philly, September 26th and 27th. I am really considering going there on the 27th. So if you guys, if you guys do decide to go, I'll be there on the Sunday. And and I also was going to mention Maker Camp. Also, I will most definitely be there in October.
Awesome. And Dave, how can people find you?
Yeah. Oh, Alex, do you have something?
Yes, real quick.
Yeah.
Dave also has a Patreon that you can hop on to. And he does awesome giveaways. I actually got a laser engraver off of one of his giveaways. This is a while ago. But he's got great 3D printers and other stuff that he has as part of his Patreon. So it's, I mean, well worth the membership.
It's $10 paid per month, and if sometimes it's a multi-month giveaway where we're gonna build up that pot. Everything from that Patreon goes to the prize, so I don't really pocket anything at all. So right now we're giving away a Bamboo Lab A2L. So that's going to be at the end of the month, or rather midnight on September 1st. We're going to announce a winner for that. It's already been 2 months for that. So everyone that's been in it for 2 months gets 2 entries. So if you get in it now, you'll get 1 entry into it. And the odds for winning are really, really good. So again, I started that Patreon to basically try to get equipment to other people who just can't prioritize spending the money to get certain things. And I'm also always just asking people what they need. And if the other people in the Patreon also find that useful, we try to give it away. So like previous month, it was a Festool Domino, or the winner got to choose between that or a printer, and they chose a printer. So we've done meta glasses, we've done printers, we've done lasers. Always just something that somebody needs. We'll try to make that as one of the giveaways. Thanks for bringing that up.
And where else can they find you, Dave?
Oh yeah, sorry. You can find me on Instagram mainly as 3D_DIY_Dave. I'm on YouTube, and I'm also on TikTok.
Awesome. Yeah. And Alex, where can they find us?
We are What You're Making Show on Instagram as well as on YouTube if you want to see our smiling faces as we record.
And on Patreon.
Yes, patreon.com/whatyourmakingshow.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, we'll be back in 2 weeks, and until we see you then.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Night, night. It prints the filament on its skin or else it gets the hose again.